4 months in lockdown, and it all comes down to this. Sydney reborn, a city starved of connection, making up for lost time. Bruised businesses begin to heal, and the retail therapy started at midnight. Here's to catching up. We're live as the floodgates open at pubs and restaurants citywide. First-class fun, the return of groups, the return of joy for young and old. And in sport, Penrith's premiership stars before they were Panthers. Their schoolboy coach explains how it all began.
This is 9 News with Peter Overton.
Good evening. New South Wales is well and truly back in business. Gyms, pubs, cafes and restaurants tonight doing a roaring trade. But perhaps the thing we've missed the most, our families, reunited today after 106 long days apart. Damien Ryan begins our coverage.
Freedom to hug again, and they struggle to let go. Of all the places where lockdown hit the hardest, aged care homes open again. This one at the Ponds, smiles and kisses all round.
You'll see why I married him.
For Coralie Marnie, she was back with a husband of 60 years.
We've never been apart for so long.
For Eileen McIntosh and daughter Heather, this was much better than just a daily phone call.
A few days. I'm an old softie. Oh, it's been absolutely marvellous. It's made my day.
Freedom Day has been celebrated in so many different ways.
Mom!
At Emu Plains, a surprise family reunion and tears of joy as Caroline Brennan hugged two of her grandchildren for the first time since June.
She's grown so much.
I know. So have you.
At Bligh Park, Kathy Spirou came knocking.
Knock, knock.
Desperate to see her newest grandson, Mason.
Oh my God, he's grown so much.
They were separated because they lived 17 kilometres apart. Now they're as close as they can be.
We're going to see more of each other.
As families reunited, shoppers were busting to part with their cash, indulging in some retail therapy. At Spotlight, Castle Hill, they couldn't wait, queuing long before midnight.
Good evening, customers. You're quite welcome to come in. Happy Freedom Day, guys.
At Kmart in Penrith, shoppers raring to go.
Buy all the homewares.
While inside, a pep talk for staff.
Help the customers, serve the customers. That's the main priority.
Before the doors were thrown open, more than 100 days since they closed.
Freedom Day!
Everyone knew the drill, no jab, no entry.
Can you please? Thank you.
Finally out of their homes, there was no better reason to spend up.
I think everyone's just smiling behind their mask.
Thank you. Lots of bargains, lots of bargains.
At Toongabbie, a beer was the draw card, as long as you had green on your screen. There were up to 300 at the sports club, all thirsty for a Freedom Day drop, celebrating birthdays,
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
milestones,
We both turned 18 in lockdown, so this is our first time out.
and a long overdue catch-up with mates.
Cheers.
The club, the shops, and why not a workout?
2, 1,
A visit to the gym was a high priority, but a haircut for many was a must-do. First stop for the Premier today was a barber shop in the city, a new do to go with his new job.
It's going to be a great summer. Sydney's going to come back, and as long as everyone just looks after each other, looks out for each other, respect and tolerance, we're going to smash it.
Perfect.
His political rival, Chris the Mullet Mins, also got the chop in Sanssouci. Losing his lockdown locks, raised $7,000 for charity.
He's a superstar. Perfect. Thank you, Chris. Thanks, brother. Thank you.
It's been hailed a victory for the vaccinated, and as Sydney and New South Wales gets back to business and people enjoy newfound freedoms, the WA Premier couldn't resist taking a pot shot from the West.
They're all getting excited about having a haircut and drinking a beer, whereas we've been able to have haircuts and drink beers for a long period of time wherever you might like.
And while they play politics, back at the ponds, the only game was cards.
I can put up with missing out on playing cards. But to actually see her and holding her hand, that's the big thing.
A favourite pastime renewed and a love affair never broken.
He just looked so gorgeous. I think the last time I felt more excited was our wedding day.
Damien Ryan, 9 News.
Well, 3 months is a long time between drinks, and long overdue catch-ups are in full swing right across the city. Nine's Mark Burrows is at the Greens in North Sydney. Mark, they are expecting a full house tonight.
Indeed they are, Peter. Who thought we'd be doing a live cross into the news to tell you that pubs are open and there are people inside? But simply, it is a big deal here at the Greens. The barmen are pouring beers, they polish the glasses, mixing cocktails. Here, the barista has been baristering and the crowds have been slowly gathering. Over here, the kitchen is packed. They're making their signature hamburger. And over here, well, we've got mates catching up for a long overdue drink. Who can blame them? Families have been catching up. Mum and Dad aren't doing the cooking tonight. It's a great feeling. You really do get the impression that a huge pressure valve has been released and everyone is just embracing this relief right across the city. Peter?
Terrific stuff, Mark. Thank you. Let's leave you there in North Sydney and go to Tiffany Genders at Coogee. Tiff, have the crowds returned there?
Well, Pete, the weather isn't exactly what we ordered today, but nothing will get between the people and their pub. Tonight we're at the Coogee Bay Hotel, which is renowned for a good time. And I tell you what, it hasn't taken long for people to find their feet, quickly adapting to that old thing we used to do, which is standing while having a drink. Now, I'll get a quick consensus from these lovely ladies. They've just finished their first day back at the hair salon. Ladies, how does freedom taste? Congratulations on your first day back, and you have a lovely evening. The celebrations are really stepping up a notch as people knock off work. It has been a marathon day that started in the early hours of this morning.
Bubbles at breakfast.
Cheers!
The most important thing on the menu, catching up. Smiles shining through cafe windows after so long hidden behind masks.
Huggy.
Some new rituals at Sydney's oldest pub.
I'll be back. Ready to come over here, mate.
But once the checks and check-ins were complete, that familiar sound and feel and taste was back.
Great place. You know, it's more than just a pub. You know, I've got a lot of friends we meet here and from all over the town.
And so it was all over Sydney at Bankstown Sports. Tables and glasses full with 106 days worth of stories.
To be out and about, especially with friends that we haven't seen for that length of time, it's wonderful.
It feels like 15 years ago, but I think it was only 15 weeks ago.
Even those on the clock happy to be back where they're most comfortable.
Just been busy with the kids, with homeschooling and all that. That's come up with everything with this lockdown. Going out of the freedom, having the first freedom, so it feels good.
The roast of the day at Campbelltown Catholic Club.
Is it good to be back?
Bloody oath.
Schnitzels, fried and ferried to tables of old friends, getting back to the old ways of life at Rouse Hill. But not all were used to the crowds or the cheer. 2-month-old Cleo meeting her grandparents while hitting a different kind of bottle.
So good. We've missed them a lot. Haven't seen them at all. So it's nice to be back with them.
We used to have video or Zoom conferences on a Monday, so we're exceptionally happy to get together with our friends face to face. So it's been very, very enjoyable.
Just to get together with mates and family, it's the best thing ever. Best thing ever. Having a beer with the guys here, you can't ask for more.
And whether they were schooners from the tap or elaborate cocktails, simply being back in the company of family and friends and even strangers made these some of the sweetest sips of the year.
Really good angle.
It was hard not seeing everyone, not seeing family, not seeing friends. But yeah, it's good to be back.
As well as the flavours and the friends, even in this rain, live music is back, providing what is hope becomes a soundtrack for a long summer ahead.
Charles Croucher, 9 News.
Not everyone wants to head out tonight. For one family near Penrith, it's all about welcoming friends and family back into their home. Laura Tunstall is at Cambridge Gardens. Laura, good evening. It's not just Freedom Day being celebrated there.
No, that's right, Pete. They've timed it well here in the Woodgate household. It is 11-year-old Jack's birthday today and he's got all his friends here to celebrate. How good is that? His mum Alison is here as well. Well, look, what does this mean?
Oh, look, I'm just so relieved that finally we can get together with friends and family to celebrate, you know, these special occasions such as birthdays. And also celebrating my friend Mariam's 50th as well, so yay! But I just feel sorry for all those children that sort of missed out during lockdown, so hopefully they'll get a birthday party next year.
There has been a lot of missed special occasions over the last few months, hasn't there?
There's been a lot. Yeah, there's been a lot. But thankfully Jack's birthday, he's turning 11 on the 11th, which is Freedom Day, so he's very lucky. Yeah.
Well, happy birthday, Jack. Happy birthday. Look, Pete, certainly a special night for many, being finally allowed to have the people you love back in your home to celebrate.
Well done, Laura. Thank you. That's lovely. A haircut, a manicure, browsing the shops, simple things we perhaps took for granted pre-lockdown were all back on the to-do list today. And for many across Sydney, the first port of call was the barber, where overgrown locks were lopped.
From Broadway to Westfield Parramatta, Sydney's buzz was back. A cacophony of clippers and symphony of scissors as our city got snipped. When you've been waiting more than 100 days to tame that mane, what's another 45 minutes in a line?
First thing I wanted to do today was come here and queue for my haircut.
We've already got 60 people waiting and we've only been open for an hour and 20 minutes. There you go, mate.
This short back and sides even came with beer.
Cheers.
I always say get 10 years off, and the way he's done it now, it's about 9 3/4.
At Finest Hair in Liverpool, it was champagne that was flowing. Not just cuts, colours too.
I look better now, you should have seen it before.
The days of DIY are done. It's time to lie back, relax and let the experts take over. Joe Bailey's Double Bay salon was the centre of a COVID cluster in June, but today he was happy to be trimming tresses once more.
Feels really good, it really does, it feels fantastic. I'm so pumped to be back.
If your hair doesn't look great, then I guess you don't feel yourself.
Jump up for me.
But it's not just the hairs on our head in need of TLC. The Elegant Life salon in South Windsor tending to brows and lashes before dawn. Brooke came in her PJs.
I'm happy to be here at midnight. Feel like Christmas.
Massage chairs rumbled back to life as long neglected nails were filed and polished. A big line made Parramatta's JD Sports look like the hottest nightclub in town. People camping out for a new pair of shoes.
Being stuck at home is pretty boring.
The shutters lifted and so did the ban on browsing.
Hip hip hooray, it's a Freedom Day!
Just so wonderful to come out and get about.
Nothing beats that in-store experience, the smells and the sounds. David Jones' piano man Michael Hope adding to the ambience.
How do you feel with that one?
Jessica's wedding is fast approaching, and like so many brides-to-be, she needs to find that perfect gown.
I've been waiting for it my entire life, so it's just really nice to be able to finally come in and try on some dresses.
It's a little bit challenging, I won't lie. Mostly it takes between 4 and 6 months to get a gown in, so we've got girls coming in for a November wedding.
They may seem like small things and not a necessity, but getting a haircut, your nails done or buying a new outfit can make you feel like a whole new person and one that's ready to face this post-lockdown world.
Looking after myself, fresh cut, very happy about it.
Whatever your simple pleasures may be.
Just figured treat myself.
Natalia Cooper, 9 News.
Well, a lot changed today for the fully vaccinated. Liz Daniels is across all the new rules. Liz, walk us through what we can and can't do.
Pete, it might be Freedom Day, but it's not a free-for-all. There are density limits at cinemas, retail, hospitality and salons, so be aware you may be turned away. At restaurants, bookings are capped at 20 per table. At the pub, you must be seated to drink indoors. Standing up is allowed outside. Up to 100 guests can attend weddings and funerals, and at home, it's 10 visitors only, but that number doesn't include children under 12. Picnics in the park now lift to 30 people, and masks can come off outdoors. There are now no LGAs of concern. Essential worker permits have been scrapped and you can travel anywhere within Sydney, the Blue Mountains, Central Coast, Wollongong and Shell Harbour. It's complex, but all this will change as our vaccination rates rise.
Also with me in the studio tonight is Kate Creedon. Kate, we've surpassed the 70% milestone and are well on our way to 80%.
That's right, Pete. Happy Freedom Day. 74% of us are now fully vaccinated, which means we should hit 80% by Sunday or Monday. It's going to be really close. If we get there on Sunday, restrictions will ease further next Monday. If we reach 80% on Monday, we'll have to wait until the following Monday, the 25th. At 80%, masks can come off in the office. Up to 20 guests will be able to visit us at home. Community sport resumes and we can finally travel unrestricted across the state. Many suburbs have already surpassed the 80% double dose mark. Camden's already at 89.1%, Ku-ring-gai's at 89.3%, and in the Hillshire, an incredible 91.6% of residents are now fully vaxxed. But others are lagging behind. In Randwick, only 68.4% of residents have had 2 jabs and 63.3% in the city. Pete?
Kate, Liz, thank you. New South Wales recorded 496 cases of COVID today, as well as 8 deaths. The Premier admits there will be challenges ahead as we lead the nation out of the pandemic. Businesses were today forced to turn vaccine police, some strictly enforcing the law, while others ignored it completely.
Freedom as long as you're fully vaxxed. But checking proof of vaccination is hit and miss.
The children's shops didn't ask us.
They didn't?
No. I was very pleased to see that Kmart checked that we'd been vaccinated.
Big stores like Kmart in Penrith have a full-blown check-in desk.
Thank you very much.
David Jones in town. JD Sports at Parramatta.
Yep, and double vax.
But some coffee shops are sticking with takeaway because they don't want to have to play COVID cop.
It's including all people, regardless of vaccinations or not. My staff shouldn't have to police people.
The Premier's view is it's better to open like this than to remain locked down.
I accept, Chris, there will be challenges and issues along the way. I ask the business where you can, please check that data is correct. Obviously, we can't police everybody.
Nor do they want to. Police do have the power to ask to see your vaccine passport, but instead are going to focus on helping smaller shopkeepers, if anti-vaxxers, make life difficult.
I do see us playing an important role supporting business and small business as they come back online today.
What police won't tolerate, though, is Sydney-siders leaving the city for the bush or the coast until we hit 80% double dose, which is still a week or 2 away.
Those cars that come from Greater Sydney, if they are in regional New South Wales, our number plate recognition will pick it up. They can read 8 number plates a second.
While there will be teething problems as we get back to normal, the only thing that matters are our hospitals. How many beds are being taken up by COVID patients, and are there enough to look after all the other emergencies? 496 cases today, 8 deaths. But there aren't as many people in hospital with COVID as projected. 769, 153 of them in intensive care. There are currently 1,500 ICU beds available.
Most countries have seen some sort of exit wave.
That's what happened in Singapore, with roughly the same population as Sydney and 83% of adults fully vaccinated. They've had almost 47,000 new cases in the past month, yet only 41 people are in intensive care.
We need to learn to live alongside the virus. I know everyone's been saying it, but today, New South Wales is the first state to be doing just that. we are leading the nation out of this pandemic.
Chris O'Keefe, 9 News.
It is time to pause and check in on today's weather. Good evening, Amber.
Good evening to you, Pete. The mood might be bright, but the weather certainly wasn't today. Mother Nature perhaps getting the memo that picnics and walks are no longer high on the agenda. The heaviest rain was overnight. Toongabbie picking up 20 millimetres of rain, 19 falling in Parramatta and 18 in Borkham Hills. Today was a little lighter, but we still saw a steady 1 to 4 millimetres of rain fall across most suburbs. And it was the coldest October day we've had in 4 years, only reaching 14 degrees in the city and 14 degrees in our west. That is 12 degrees cooler than average. There is more rain on the way tomorrow. I'll be back with a full forecast a little later, Pete.
Amber, thank you. From caravan parks to the Crown, being anywhere other than your own home is proving very popular. Next, Sydney with a strong case of wanderlust, plus the biggest clue yet as to when Queensland might let us back in. The CCTV police want you to see as they probe a home invasion at Bankstown. An actor killed in a freak accident on stage during an opera. And from fitness fanatics to tiny dancers, some of the best moments as classes of all kinds begin again.